Hey there friends, have you ever been denied the purchase of a firearms via a background check? Have you ever been denied because of your brother? But first, check out my friends CMMG. Go to the website cmmg.com. They have some of the coolest rifles out there. You can get several different variations of all of these models of rifle. You can get them in various colors. The Cerakote finish is impeccable on every single one of these. You can use my code FTATF. Again, FTATF is my code. Use it for a discount and be on the lookout for a video I'll be putting out very soon on their brand new mystery boxes. The mystery boxes are packed full with really cool stuff. I've got one right now that sits right next to my desk. I'll be telling you about it very soon. According to a Substack story by Lee Williams, Cecil Trimble, a 35-year-old restaurant manager, took a fishing reel to Bass Pro Shops Tampa store last week to be respooled with new line. As he was waiting, he wandered over to the gun department and immediately spotted the object of his desire. He'd been searching for a SIG P365X for weeks and he found one. He told the salesman he wanted it, filled out his 4473 background check, and handed over his Florida concealed weapon or firearms license, which exempts him from a waiting period. Trimble had purchased numerous firearms from Bass Pro Shop in the past, so he expected to walk out of the store with this new pistol right away. Mr. Trimble states, "The clerk came over to me, told me the ATF has approved you, but we're denying the purchase." Trimble demanded to know what was going on, and the salesperson said Trimble's brother-in-law had tried to buy a firearm at the store a month ago, but self-denied on the 4473, most likely because he misread a question. Unfortunately, Trimble's brother-in-law, who had lived with him several years ago, moved out but never changed the address on his driver's license. Trimble said, "I asked the clerk how this had anything to do with me, and he said it was Bass Pro Shop's policy not to sell any firearms to anyone living at the same address as someone who has been denied." Trimble told him he hasn't lived there for 3 or 4 years. Trimble also said the firearms manager agreed with me but could not get the GM of compliance on the phone to talk this out. As it stands, I or anyone living at my address are barred from buying firearms from Bass Pro ever again. Trimble also pointed out that his brother is retired military, Florida CWFL holder, and not a prohibited person. He must have misread a question on the form 4473. Trimble said the staff wouldn't relent. Trimble made a good point and said, "What if I move into an apartment and the previous tenant was denied? According to Bass Pro, I couldn't disprove it's not a straw purchase, and I can never buy a gun from them again." According to the story, neither Bass Pro Shop's corporate communications staff or Jared Ritchie, general manager of the Tampa facility, responded to multiple calls or emails seeking their comments for this story. Multiple calls to the Tampa store's gun department finally produced a brief interview with Joe, who said he was one of the store's managers. Joe did not provide his last name. At first, he tried to blame the ATF, but he later admitted, "We do keep a data log on this." Now, as Lee Williams points out in this story, any FFL dealer out there can refuse the sale of anything, whether it be a firearm or anything else, to anybody that comes in the store. That's a right that they all reserve, even if it's right or even if it's wrong. So the store is not doing anything wrong, technically speaking, as far as trade goes, in denying this sale. However, you do have a Second Amendment involved here and a right being denied at this point based on some kind of a company policy that is not a federally mandated policy. This seems like an internal policy that Bass Pro Shops has. Now, I took a minute to look up how many of these denials are actually incorrect. And according to a Gun Owners of America article from a couple of years ago, John Lott, you guys will know John Lott, he's a noted firearms Second Amendment researcher and economist, claim that as many as 99% of NICS denials are all actually false positives, meaning the person denied is not actually a prohibited person. Now, the FBI, when contacted by GOA, said that they had a 99% roughly accuracy rate on these types of denials. Well, that seems like that was wrong. After a FOIA request by GOA, the FBI had to admit that 27.7% of their NICS appeals received during the requested time period were overturned, and the firearm purchase transfer transactions were proceeded. So that means they're admitting that almost 30% of them are wrong. Now, this is the FBI admitting they're wrong. The FBI is only going to admit they're wrong when they have to. So you know there's other gray areas that they don't have to count in that 30% or 27.7% number that they're not going to. They're not going to inflate the numbers saying that they are incorrect. Now, interestingly, John Lott points out a couple of other reasons where they are wrong. The third one was the most interesting one to me. The FBI statistic does not include include people who file legal challenge. For example, Second Amendment lawyer Stephen Stambule has brought and won numerous federal cases against the FBI for wrongfully denying firearm sales. Now, they're not counting these guys. For every such case, there are probably 1,000 other gun owners who aren't aware they can sue the FBI and they just give up. My point for bringing these statistics up and this whole point of the false positives, the incorrect denials, is the fact that if we have this many incorrect denials, and Bass Pro Shops is a nationwide company, is this a Tampa specific policy that they have where no one at this address who has been denied can get a firearm in the future, or is this a nationwide policy that the entire company has from a corporate standpoint? I tried to contact their corporate communications, but you're not talking to anybody. My guess is they're probably starting to get a little bit of blowback on this article by Lee Williams, so they're probably not going to be answering phones anytime soon. I have left 2 messages for them at the Tampa location and at the corporate location just to see, is this a nationwide policy that they have? So if we have this many people who are being wrongfully denied via a NICS sale out there, then that means that everybody in that household, and potentially everybody who moves into that apartment in the future, once it changes hands, or sells a home and moves into that same location, now it's going to be their responsibility to somehow prove to Bass Pro that those people don't live here anymore. I own this home now. And does that even matter anyway? Because this gentleman already told them that. Said, it's my brother-in-law, doesn't live in my house anymore. He's been gone for a while. Now, I will say this. If you have the wrong address on your driver's license, that can exclude you from being able to purchase a firearm also. So I'm not saying that everyone was right in this particular instance. Again, his brother-in-law should have updated that license with that address on there. You have to have your current place that you reside at on your driver's license. I've walked into gun shops before, and the first thing they ask, in many cases when people are filling out a 4473 and they hand the driver's license, they'll ask them, is this your current place that you live? And I've seen them, if they say, no, I've moved, but I haven't had a chance to update my driver's license yet, I've seen them say, you need to get that fixed before I can run this. This is not because the gun shop is being a jerk about this. It's because the ATF is being a jerk to the FFLs regarding this. They can very easily lose their FFL or get penalized. Well, right now they would lose their FFL under the Biden administration's strong arm. But this is a big thing that they have to watch out for. So I don't fault any of the FFLs out there that are saying you can't purchase this gun for this reason. But this is not an accurate policy by Bass Pro Shop if they're denying this other gentleman who lives there now simply because someone else previously at that very location from that address was denied. There's no reason behind that. If you want to cite the straw purchase data, then the straw purchase data doesn't support this either as far as the numbers go. So assuming somebody is simply a straw purchaser based on just the previous address is not right. In fact, if they want to really get down to it, if they are keeping their own data logs, their data log should have why this other person was denied. And it very well could be because the guy had the wrong address. Maybe he came in after he had moved, and maybe he answered to the FFL and said, look, that's not my current address, I moved somewhere else, and maybe they denied him at that point. I mean, it's possible, but they could have gone through the whole NICS check and found that that is not where he lived and denied him. I suppose that is a possibility. So if that's the case, that's probably why he would have gotten denied, because again, as stated earlier, this guy that got denied is not a prohibited person to begin with. He should have been allowed to purchase a firearm if everything was right. Folks, I'm going to keep following up on this. I hope you will stay tuned to this. Guys, look, I'm sitting here watching in the last month, my numbers on YouTube, subscribers, go steadily downward. I don't know what's happening with YouTube. Same number of views, people are still watching my videos, they're still sharing them, liking them, commenting, all that. However, I'm losing subscribers pretty fast. If you don't mind, please check down below and make sure that you are still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Do me a favor, share the video, like the video, comment on the video. Sharing is a big deal because that gets me out there. And if you ask your friends and family to subscribe to the channel, that's a big help also, because YouTube is playing games and they're steadily shaving, not just me, but they're shaving subscribers off of all of the gun channels right now.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
He's so horrible.